Hey, what's up, SB Warriors? Paul K here, and today I'm going to talk about focus. And it was one of the things that I kind of had a mind shift when I was at the range and I was having a terrible time. It was windy, all this stuff, but I was able to bring it back. And what I did and how I believe it relates to our businesses and having a focus and what happens when we get off target. So stay tuned and check it out, and thanks a lot. Hey guys, if you're like me, you've always had a desire to do more. And deep inside, you've known there's a way and a possibility for you to achieve your dreams, the lifestyle, and achieve the freedom you've always wanted. Because we have what it takes to get things done and learn from others and get the mindset to achieve the dreams we've always wanted. Welcome to SB Warriors. Hey, what's up everybody? Paul K here with SB Warriors. Welcome. And today I want to kind of talk to you about what happened to me yesterday. I had an awesome opportunity to go to the range and shoot with military professionally trained members who work in the elite kind of field. And I'm not a big gun person. I remember the first time I held the gun, I was super nervous, like hand shaking. But I do appreciate the ability to know how to use a weapon if I so needed to. Not going to get into the gun debate here, but I just wanted to say that it made me really think about things. And when you are trying to find a target and trying to find a focus, and when you are looking, I don't know if you've ever had an opportunity to take some sort of tool, it doesn't necessarily have to be a firearm, but take a tool, and in this case with we were shooting a rifle that has, I don't know if you know, there's this thing on it called sights. And the sights are basically, there's a front sight and there's a rear sight. And when the two, they're like, so you're on a rifle like this, and when the two are aligned, it allows you to, it allows you to find the focus of your target. Because if you move your rifle a little bit to a certain degree, and it's off, if your sights aren't aligned, then when you shoot, the further your distance is you're shooting, the further you are off in that trajectory of your target. And of course, when you're up close, it's not greatly affected. But I think about this, and it makes me think about business and our business goals and how we're trying to hit that target. And if our sights aren't aligned, we're not going to hit it. And so a lot of times we may be looking at just the front sight, we may be just looking at the rear sight, and we're not able to focus. And there's so many times that I've done things, or I've been helping other people, and they're like, oh yeah, I just want more business, I want more results. And it's like, okay, well, where's your focus? You're saying you want this, but a lot of times people aren't necessarily willing to do what it takes to actually put both their sights aligned and to hit that target. Like there are times where I'm like, hey, you need to start adding video to your business. I'll tell a business owner that. You need to start adding video to your business. And they immediately, their sight alignment goes off of their goal of, I'm going to get more customers. How do I reach more people? How do I do all these things? And their sight alignment goes to, it turns into themselves. They're like, oh, well, what are people going to think about me? How's it going to come across? I'm not ready. All these things. And I advocate something like video because it breaks down barriers. It gives people a chance to get to know you. It does so many different things. And so when I come across a business owner who I'm trying to help grow their business, it becomes a little bit frustrating. It's like you put a limiter on what we can do. So it's like, okay, well, like things are changing. We have so much communication via this electronic device that there's actually a lack of communication. And so how do we find the way of actually turning it around to where we can become more identifiable, more reachable, more in tune, so that people will more likely use our services, our products, whatever it is that you're doing. And so I was on the line. And so when you I don't know if you've ever had an opportunity to do this. So when you shoot, you get on the line and you're with other people. And this one particular movement we were doing, we were doing staggering movements. So we had two people offset, and we were turning to the left or to the right, and we were finding a target. We were about 25 or 50. We were about 25 yards because we were moving. And so we're standing there, and they would tell you, hey, threat move, and you move, right? Boom, and you turn and you try to find your target. Well, my mind, I was someplace else. And it was like, and it was hot. Like, it was so windy, like dust was like flying in your face. And when you do stuff like this, you usually go to remote locations. And being in California, where it's basically the desert, and so the wind's blowing, and I wish I had like those goggles that you can kind of like keep sand from flowing in your eyes, and you're trying not to breathe it all in. And so you have all these different things going on, and you're a little bit stressed, you know, because you're carrying this weapon and you're trying to do it well, and you got all these things. You're like, and then if you don't focus, holy cow, like I was delayed. I wasn't finding my target. I was like, whoa. And I caught myself and I was like, what am I doing? I was like, I need to focus. I need to get my mind right, because I'm not aligning at all. I'm like kind of just fuddling through the motions. And I've seen that happen with business owners. And it's like, it's just this, you're just like trying to push through this. And it's like, it doesn't have to be that way. And so what I ended up doing, I took a break, I sat down, and I got some fluids in me, you know, because you get tired, you get dehydrated. And I took a moment, and when I went back up there, I was focused and I was ready and I was on target. And it's like, I think a lot of times people, when we do this with our business, if we just kind of take a step back, look at what's going on and reassess, like, hey, what is it that's going on with me? Because if you're a business owner or you're thinking about getting into business, like, you are in charge of this ship, and everything that's going on is our responsibility. So if my business sucks, it is my fault. If my business is not profitable, that is my fault, because there are so many things that are changing in the not the workplace, but more so in the dynamics of what's going on in our society. Ways to communicate. So things are the old hat are like, oh, you know what, you're not advertising in newspapers anymore. Why? Because people don't look in newspapers. Rarely is someone buying a newspaper. I remember when I was a kid, the newspaper would come to the house and it'd be like this thick. And now when I get one, which I don't subscribe to, it's like this. Someone will just throw one on it's like this thick. And I'm like, what happened? Well, people are switching to a digital format, digitizing. Our cell phones are, all this is now changed. And so we, as business owners, have to change and adapt with it. That's why like something like using video is important for your business. And there are a number of steps we can take as far as growing, as far as we have to advertise, what happens when people walk in through our door. And that's just not just in the physical space, it's also the virtual space. And we have to consider the mindset of those people that we're trying to attract. And I think a lot of times what I've noticed is business owners, they'll just want to throw money at a problem. Here, go ahead, you do it, boom. And it's just like, well, wait a second. I could take your money and I can put these advertisements out there, but there's a human element that we need to focus on. That human element is our focus, you as business owner, that there's so many steps that people will come into your business. What are you doing to protect those steps and to protect that person so you can guide them through the process that you want them to experience? Because if you look at any business that has a service or that provides some sort of product, what distinguishes you from anybody else? And that's a real question, because if your focus is purely on, say, money, then you walk into that business, virtual, physical, whatever it is, you can feel that there's a different tone. There's a difference. And it's just like, you ever walk into a business and you're like, wow, something's different here. And you just feel the energy. Well, that's their focusing on their ability to create an atmosphere that controls the state of mind of those individuals in there. Not so much like your mind controlling people, but we are human beings that make actions, and our actions are mostly based on some sort of emotional level. And a lot of times people don't realize that. It's like we're smart as we are and as much technology, we are at the core root of who we are. We are emotional beings. And I don't want to sound all like, what's that one movie, like where you get all sappy, and I'm not trying to do that. I'm just being real. We make our decisions based on our experiences, based on our present feelings, all these things. And a lot of times they're not always generally best aligned with what we're trying to do, because our focus may be a little bit off. Our sight may be so if our sight's here and it's a little bit off, you're going to be off, because as you're trying to go downrange and you're trying, actually it's more like this, sorry. The sight alignment is two in the front, two in the back, one in the front. As you're trying to shoot, the further you're trying to shoot your goal, the more accurate you have to be. And so it's like, how does that relate to your business? How is it that you're target of what you're trying to do? Well, let's see. I need new customers. If I need new customers, what do I need to do to help introduce my services, my products to them? And the first thing you want to do is you need exposure. Yeah, okay. Everyone understands that. You need exposure. But then when someone starts becoming product aware of what you do, what's going to take them to the next step to take that action? And each step is a process. Sometimes it's very simple, because sometimes somebody needs a new shoe. Oh, I need a new shoe. But then what distinguishes someone from buying a Nike over a Reebok, over a Converse, or a Puma, or Vans, whatever it is? What is it that makes that person buy that? And that is on an emotional level. And if you can think about that on your business and how it pertains, like what can you do to create that sort of emotional tie to your business? And it's like, a mechanic of mine that I go to, and I had done a live video, and my mechanic, I just trust. I trust him. I'll go in there, and if he's like, you know what, I'm seeing this is what's going on, and this is what we're going to do. And mechanics are one of those people that you notoriously do not trust. So you're just like, they're trying to screw me, right? It's like, who hasn't had that guy? You're like, well, you got this and this and this wrong. And you're like, oh man, you start feeling it. You're like, oh, it's going to be $1,200. You're like, no. Well, because my mechanic at the time has in the past been like, well, this is what's going on. You don't need it right now, but you should be something you want to look at in the future. It's like, wow, you just gave me an options. You gave me control. You gave me information, but put it back on me and made me feel in control. And I think if we recognize our target and recognize there's so many steps within that, and that there is this cohesiveness that, especially if you're in the physical space, that you need to bring in, because now you have, in the virtual space, if you're selling a product, you have your website, you can control that website. You can control what you put on it. But when it comes to the physical space and people who own small physical businesses, it's different, because now you have that first barrier to entry is an actual person who may pick up the phone. Then when they come in through the door, you may have multiple employees. Well, each of those employees are going to react differently to that customer's first time experience, second time, whatever it is, and how they come through the door. So that target, that focus, how do you create that and create it to where it is sustainable for a long-term business, to create that emotional experience for your customer long-term? Because the cost to acquire a customer once is that cost once. And is it cheaper to keep them, or is it cheaper to keep getting new customers? And I tell you, it's cheaper to keep them. And I'm not going there on the some of you guys may be thinking somewhere else, like as far as relationship, I'm not going there. But it's true. If you have a customer base, you're building your list, then it's easier to sustain your current customers who will then refer other people to you than it is to buy new customers and keep outreaching. Something to think about: how to get your focus back in line, get your sights back on your target, which is ultimately grow your business, grow more customer base, and to get refocused. And sometimes you need to step back, like I did on the range, and regroup and And then when I did it, I killed it. Not sorry, not metaphorically speaking. This metaphorically speaking. Please don't get mad at me. I was on target. How about that? I was on target. I was doing well, and you know what? I felt right because I took the time, the space to recenter, refocus. And sometimes some of you guys may need to do that and say, hey, identify those problems in your business. What is going on? What do we need to do to refocus? What do we need to do to realign? You may need to change your ad strategy. You may need to change your something with your employees, your culture. You may need to step up your phone answering skills. You may need to, there's all these steps in the process. You may need to follow up with your follow-up for your existing customers. How hard is it to go, hey, how was your service today? Not hard. Doesn't take a lot. You can automate it. So many things you can do today to make people feel important. Everybody wants to feel important. Anyway, thanks for checking out SB Warriors, guys. Appreciate it. Hopefully we can get our mindset, get our business growing so you guys can also benefit from this. Don't forget to check out the book. If you haven't had a chance, the Small Business Blueprint Marketing, go ahead and check that out. Also, if you like this kind of content, I ask you to just leave a feedback on iTunes, or you can go to the website and leave a video feedback or anything you want to see in the future. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.